Netflix's Hitman is one of the streaming service's best movies of 2024, but it also leaves a lot of questions and mysteries unanswered. The tense crime comedy has a fairly intricate script, with the story weaving a complicated web of lies for Glenn Powell's Gary Johnson to navigate through. While these are mostly resolved, some viewers are left scratching their heads after the end of Hitman due to these 10 lingering questions. Hitman is the highly anticipated newest film from acclaimed director Richard Linklater, with it being one of Netflix's best-reviewed films in years. Hitman is loosely based on the true story of Gary Johnson, with Glenn Powell portraying him as a professor who moonlights as a fake hitman for the New Orleans Police Department. However, after falling for one of his targets, Gary gets caught up in a situation full of lies and deceit, one that could end up costing him his life. The biggest question at the end of Hitman has to do with the death of the film's main antagonist, Jasper. At the end of the film, Jasper deduces Gary and Maddie's scheme, and after failing to expose them to the NOPD, he decides to bribe them instead. Before this works, Maddie poisons Jasper, and Gary places a plastic bag over his head, with the duo planning to stage it as a suicide. While Gary seems to be confident that this plan will work due to his time posing as a hitman, the film never actually follows up on this storyline. Gary and Maddie seem to be living a happy life, and due to the Nop's dislike for Jasper, Gary seems to believe that they won't really look into it. However, Hitman never confirms what the NOPD decided about Jasper's death, leaving the possibility open for the NOPD to uncover Gary and Maddie's murder. Gary and Madison end up together at the end of Hitman, with the film flashing forward several years to reveal that the duo has moved in together and has given birth to several kids. After the long and complicated start to their relationship, things seem to have paid off, with the couple seemingly living a happy life. Despite this, the real Gary Johnson was married and divorced 3 times, meaning that it is likely that Gary and Madison will get divorced after the events of the film. While Gary and Maddie's relationship was made up for Hitman, along with many other details in the film, the broad strokes of Gary's life are stuck to. Because of this, there is a lot of speculation that the couple's relationship won't last, especially since Gary mentions in the film that typical relationships aren't for him. Even if Gary and Madison's relationship does go well after the events of Hitman, there is another major mystery that could affect their relationship. Much of the suspense throughout the film has to do with Gary hiding his relationship with Maddie from the NOPD, with Jasper's discovery of their secret relationship being so bad for Gary and Maddie that they end up killing him. Gary seemingly still has connections to the people he works with at the NOPD, meaning that it is likely that others have found out about his relationship with Madison. Since these officers know that Gary and Madison first met when Gary was undercover as Ron, it only makes sense for the NOPD to question their relationship, especially due to its strong connections to the mysterious death of Maddie's ex-husband Ray. Although it seems like a small detail, one of the most talked about mysteries that is left unresolved at the end of Hitman has to do with Gary's cats. At several points throughout the film, Gary makes it clear that he is a cat person and that he isn't a fan of dogs. Gary even has 2 cats of his own, with ID and Ego being seen at Gary's house throughout the film. However, at the end of Hitman, Gary explains that his personal changes have led to him becoming a dog person, with his family even owning one. However, it is never revealed what happened to ID and Ego, leaving room for a lot of speculation. The ending of Hitman only takes place a few years after the rest of the film, meaning that it is unlikely that ID and Ego both died in the elapsed time.